What is up, Yu-Gi-Oh community? Today we will be talking about dragons, namely how to beat them. This is like another prep for the national qualifier type video, or nationals. And since dragons will be in full force and probably high numbers, I figure it is relevant to know how to beat them. Unfortunately, my camera is having shitty lighting right now. And I don't know if that's any better, but hopefully it is. We will be talking about the types of cards people will be trying to use. So either if you're a dragon player, prepare to counter them, or if you're not, here's some ideas. A couple of these will probably be obvious. These are pretty some of these are specific to Prophecy and Evil Swarms, which are like the other two contenders in my opinion. But I'm sure you could incorporate these into maybe your 3-axis Fire Fist deck, or your Tidal Mermails, or your Constellars, whatever. This is not a top 5 cards of the format going into nationals, but I will do a video like that coming up, hopefully. Let's get into this video. The first card I want to talk about should be pretty obvious. It is Maxi. This is probably my favorite card when it comes to beating dragons, or at least slowing them down. Because it's either they take the Maxi challenge and make a Dragosack, and you plus, you plus off the first dragon, you break even with the first dragon, you plus 1 with the second dragon, you plus 2 with the Dragosack, and you plus 3 with the tokens. So they either do that and let you draw outs, or they stop. So this is pretty much the card that makes them stop. And it's always a 1-for-1, because dragons, everything is on a chain, which is awesome. I guess, for this card. I know most Evil Swarms and Prophecy decks are maining at least 2, I want to say, and if they're not, they probably should be. Maybe not so much Prophecy, but definitely Evil Swarms. And other rogue decks, if you're running a rogue deck, I feel like Maxi is just so good, because even against every other deck, it's still a 1-for-1, again, or at least any other big deck. Against Mermails, it's usually a +1 if you're playing it right. Evil Swarms, it'll be 1-for-1. Prophecy, it'll be 1-for-1 if the player is smart. They'll just special off the judgment and stop. So it's never like a dead card, in my opinion. So Maxi is probably my favorite, but namely for countering dragons. The next card we're going to talk about is definitely a side card, and it is Electric Virus. The reason this card's good is because it's multi-useful. You can use it against dragons, and you can take their big dragons, take their Dragosack, take anything. It's also good against Evil Swarms. You can take their Ophion, and this card lets you attack with the monster you take, which is pretty awesome. You know, it's not that great against Prophecy. You'd probably need Puppet Plant for that, but this card's not really worth playing right now. But say you run into Chaos Dragons, you can also side this, I guess. It's a light monster, level 3. I don't know, whatever. It's not bad. It's got like some cute plays, like you can take their Dragosack, tribute their Dragosack, blow up a card on the field after you get tokens with it, so that's kind of cool. And then taking Ophion and just swinging with it, or if you have an actual infestation card in your deck. So it's actually good in the Dragon Mirror match too. That's enough for that card. The next 2 cards I'm going to talk about, namely, started because of Prophecy, but I know ZackMilenius has made his way into several other decks, like Evil Swarm side decks. I know people are starting to play him, and then he is like the center for the Prophecy deck with ZackMilenius. And both of them essentially stop dragons from special summoning. ZackMilenius stops, or not ZackMilenius, Jowgen stops special summoning altogether, which is pretty sweet. He's just a lot smaller. And then ZackMilenius also, when he inflicts battle damage, you can remove shit from play. So he's great in Prophecy because you can beef him up with Starhall to like 3,000. I've gotten Jowgen up to like 4,000 before, so I mean, Star Hall is pretty good in that deck. But also, like, Kaiku in Evil Swarms is pretty good. He has synergy with the fact that he's a rank 4, or level 4, sorry. So all you have to do is play Protect the Kaiku and you pretty much win that game against dragons. So, definitely 2 cards to consider. Probably this one more so, unless you're running Prophecy, in which case Jowgen should be a staple. But I felt like I wanted to talk about it anyway. Yeah, whatever. Next I'm going to talk about, this guy, Morphing Jar number 2. I think he had like a fad at my locals for a little bit where everybody wanted to pick these up. And that's because, I mean, his effect says they have to be sent back to the main deck to get the special summon. So if your opponent has tokens in a Dragossack set and you put this down and they swing into it, they get nothing. They don't special summon monsters. And obviously neither do you, but they don't, so you essentially get rid of a Dragossack as a 1-for-1, and you get rid of the tokens, which is pretty sweet. And then additionally, good against Evil Swarms because they don't get anything for their Ophion. So this is just an interesting card. I don't know if it's that great. It's just kind of cute to try out, plus it's Morphing Jar number 2. I actually really like the art. Like, it's really kind of creepy, but whatever. And then the last card we're going to talk about, it's 2 cards, but they kind of go together, because everybody's been kind of putting this guy, King of the Feral Imps, into their extra deck, and that is to either retrieve this chick, Reptilian Vazki, which is, like, sideable, I feel like, in every deck. It's pretty much essentially good against dragons. You summon it by tributing 2 monsters with 0 attack on the field, and then she can pop a card once per turn. And then in Evil Swarms, King of the Feral Imps also is multi-useful in searching out Azathoth? I don't know, whatever, but he is a Gravekeeper's Guard, essentially, for special summon monsters, and he's 1950 in the ass, so the fact that he's an Evil Swarm name means that you can normal summon him again with Caster and go into Ovion, or you can just set him and you can also search him with King of the Feral Imps, which is kind of good. So this is Evil Swarm specific. I feel like this is open to anything. And then anything that makes rank 4s that has room, I guess, could run that to search this out, because it searches any reptile. So that is it for the monsters. In terms of spells, there aren't that many. I've just been thinking about, like, Forbidden Dress as a good card just to stop the Dragossack pop. And then you buy yourself a turn, essentially. But I don't really like this card that much right now. I definitely think Safe Zone is better as far as for Evil Swarms, which is namely what Forbidden Dress and Safe Zone are played in. Speaking of Safe Zone. In terms of traps, we do have a lot. Just lay them out real quick. Hopefully I can fit them all. And then we'll just talk about them. So yeah, these are the traps that people have been considering against Evil Swarms, and I guess we will talk about them. Since we were on the topic of Safe Zone before, and I have that train of thought still, we will talk about it. Safe Zone is good in the same way that Dress is good. They try to pop your Ophion, you protect it. They try to pop your Kaiku, you can protect it. Although I feel like a lot of people have been trying out this new card for the Spellcaster deck. Or not that new. Whoa! Sorry about that, guys. Just kind of bumped the camera. But I think we're good, so we will continue on, I guess. Onward and upward, or upward and onward. Anyway, we have the new card that Prophecy guys are trying out, and it is Gaga Shield. I think it also came as a common in the starter deck, so it really probably won't be an expensive card ever. But it is target one spellcaster type monster twice per turn. It is not destroyed by card effects or by battle. So that is pretty good. It becomes an equip card, so it lasts forever. And so this is kind of like the Evil Swarm version of this card. And it's essentially to counter dragons, although against Prophecy, this card is, or with Prophecy, this card's really good against anything that isn't the mirror match. So that's interesting. But yeah, those are like protect yourself from Dragossack type cards, and then Safe Zone, you can also activate this when they go into Big Eye before they use Big Eye's effect. Next card we're going to talk about is something everybody should know about at this point in the game, and it is Imperial Iron Wall. And it says not a player can remove flame monsters. Well, or remove from play cards. Which I almost think hurts Evil Swarms a bit, but not really. It's kind of like the way Macro and Rabbit went together. But this is Imperial Iron Wall and Evil Swarms. So you can't remove Rabbit under Iron Wall, which fucked me up one game. And you can't remove for Kirkion, and you can't remove for Thunderbird, which sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. Because as soon as you make Ophion and flip this, it should be GG, unless they, like... Actually, no, it should be GG. There's, like, no reason they're coming back from that. So that's why this card is good. It's essentially got a Kaiko effect. Except they can't Gold Sark for their Heavy Storm. They can't do anything. But, like, if they've already set up, then this card isn't that great. Which is why I really prefer this next card. Like, Imperial Iron Wall is good, it just, I don't know. I like it in Mermails and Dragoonides a lot, because you never remove, really, except for Tempest and Dragoonides. Title for Mermails. But I really prefer this card, Vanity's Emptiness. It's like Imperial Iron Wall, but better. Like, this card is honestly better. I understand why this card is twice the price of Iron Wall, and it's a common. What this essentially does is neither player can special summon monsters. When this card is sent, or when a card is sent from your side of the field or hand or deck to the graveyard, you destroy this card. So, and it's chainable, obviously. So they discard a baby dragon, you flip Emptiness. They remove for a big dragon, you flip Emptiness, and they don't get to special summon. So, say you have a set up board, then you can just flip this, or you don't special summon in your deck, like the Kaiku Prophecies. But you already have Jowgen to do this, so if they didn't have Jowgen, I could definitely see them running this. I know in Dragons you side this almost sometimes for the mirror match, because you can set up your first turn Dragossack and then set this, and then they have no outs. So that's pretty cool. The next card we're going to talk about was also kind of fatty. It had a fad, whatever. Stygian Dirge, I think it's still in style. But it just reduces the level of all monsters your opponent controls by 1. So it doesn't really affect you, but it stops them from overlaying into any rank 7, and since they don't run rank 6s, you're in good shape. So that's Stygian Dirge. I don't really like it that much, but I know a lot of people do, so yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about the drains. We're not talking about skill drain, because dragons like skill drain, I guess. I know a lot of European duelists were actually siding/mating that card. But the other two are really good against dragons. Soul Drain essentially serves the purpose of Imperial Iron Wall, except if you need to remove, so aka Prophecy, you can still remove. So Soul Drain is like mostly Prophecy's version of Imperial Iron Wall, so your Fates work under Soul Drain, but Imperial Iron Wall they don't. And then Mind Drain stops Valor Max C and all the baby dragons and Blaster, like when they try to use their like Blaster Pop effect or Redox Reborn, whatever. Mind Drain stops that. But you have to activate it before. You have to activate these two cards preemptively, so that's the only flaw with them. The next card we're going to talk about is Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. I think a lot of Prophecy players have been playing this just because they have so much advantage all the time, which is kind of cool for them, but it just returns a card to the top of the deck. So it's essentially a compulse if you're going to compulse Dragossack or Ophion, but if you hit a monster with it, it's pretty good because they draw it dead again, which I guess, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Sweet tech card, but it's not that great in too many different decks. It's kind of good if you like, it's good I guess if you have it set and then you Judgment and you have like 9 cards in hand, and you can just use this so you don't have to discard like a fucking Crescent library for no reason or something. And then the last card we're going to talk about, kind of iffy on if, you know, people actually run it, but it's one that's been talked about a lot, and I really like it. It has the same principle as Zombie World, which I forgot to talk about with the spells, but Zombie World just changes the attribute of everything to zombie, so you can't activate Fate, I think. I don't know if Zombie World might only be the Grave, but I think it's Field and Grave. And so you can't activate Fate, you can't remove your dragons unless it's attribute specified, and yeah, pretty much, that's it. But this is the same thing, just in the form of a trap card, and you can declare any attribute. So you can make them all warrior monsters if you want to, and then use like warrior extermination or something, I don't know. But DNA surgery, just declare one attribute, or declare one monster type, all monsters become that type. So this more hurts Prophecy, because they can't activate their, like, Spellbook of the Master, and that other fucking card, what's it called? Oh yeah, Spellbook of Fate. That card, I love it. I love it. And then dragons can still remove, but this is mostly Prophecy's version. Zombie World kind of hurts dragons, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you're like, you know, depending on what your meta is like, obviously Nationals will be very dragon based, and a lot of these cards hurt dragons except for maybe DNA surgery. I guess try these out, see which ones you like. Of course, you only have 15 spots in your main deck, and there's like 15 different cards here to choose from, and these only hit dragons. We haven't even gotten into like Prophecy and Evil Swarms, and I don't even know if we will, although Electric Viruses, like, stuff can be used between multiple decks. But anyway, that is the end of this video, and hopefully you guys will rate, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys next time.